progress in all of medicine comes from research. Everything from the polio vaccine to smallpox to cancer to x-rays all comes from research. And so this is the organization for 100 years that's headed up the fundamental research related to cancer and transfer that into humans. And the AACR, the American Association of Cancer Research, has led this thrust. Now, we're not the only ones. There's some other, but this is the big one. This is the mother lode.
We all stand on the shoulders of those who have come before us, and there are some huge shoulders that I stand on.
For 27 years, Dr. Jeffrey Wall has come to work at the Salk Institute in La Jolla, California. Jonas Salk was his friend and mentor.
There's one thing that he said to me that I will never forget. He said, we must always be wise ancestors. And what he meant by that is that we must always think about what the consequences of our actions are today for the world of the future. We must always be wise ancestors.
Across the street from Independence Hall in Philadelphia, 140 dedicated professionals work in the headquarters of the American Association for Cancer Research. Dr. Margaret Foti has been the CEO of AACR since 1982.
When one looks at the amazing landmarks in cancer research over the past 100 years, one can be really proud of what's been accomplished. There's been enormous success. We can feel good about what we've done, but we absolutely need to move forward with great vigor and passion, and our community has that vigor and passion.
It all started in 1907, when a group of 11 physicians and scientists came together at the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C.
From the very beginning, there was a group that consisted of scientists as well as physicians, knowing that both had to work together in order to prevent or cure cancer. Now it's a very large organization of 24,000 people, and 1/3 of the membership is international.
It's a family of people that have dedicated their lives to working together to eliminating a disease, using the best aspects of science and the best aspects of medicine and really make a difference. And that's really what AACR is all about.
In spite of the fact that we have at least 20,000 members, there is a certain feeling of family and togetherness. And I think that derives from the fact that all of the members have a common goal. They may work in different countries and they may work on different systems, but all of us dream about curing cancer. And I think that's that's the glue that holds the organization together.
That and March.
That and March, you're right.
I don't think I even knew what cancer was when I went to medical school. And it was clear that professors at the time really didn't know anything about cancer. I mean, unless you could cut it out, that was it. There was no therapy.
In medical school, I was instructed not to go into cancer medicine. You know, I was told, go into cancer surgery, go into radiotherapy. If you're interested in cancer, don't go into cancer medicine, because it is clearly impossible to really cure cancer with drugs.
During the first decades of the century, public awareness of cancer began to grow. In 1913, the Ladies' Home Journal was the first to publish the warning signs of cancer in the consumer press. One of the darkest moments in human history would eventually lead to one of the brightest lights in cancer therapy.
During World War I, the Germans used mustard gas, and one of the things, the victims that didn't die right away, the pathologist noted there was a profound atrophy of the lymphoid tissues of the body. This
was quite startling, and it suggested that you might be able to prevent cancer by specific chemicals.
Every single paper in the 1940s and 1950s started with acute lymphoblastic leukemia is the most common childhood cancer and is uniformly fatal within 6 to 12 weeks.
When I first started as a medical student, our hematologist, Dr. Lamarzi, brought in 2 children, and he said they're both going to be dead in 3 weeks. 3 weeks later, we had their hearts for demonstration. They had leukemia. Nowadays, they get up and walk around and grow up to be regular people.
If you ask the hard question, what have we accomplished in childhood leukemia, it means that 90% of the children who would have died are living normal lives. In economic terms, it probably justifies all money spent on cancer research. In 1950, the AACR had 717 members, and soon after, a new discovery would change everything.
I grew up at a very exciting time in science because I graduated from college in 1958, and it was the time of great excitement in terms of Watson and Crick and the development of DNA. And I think that this was a time that many young people became interested in science and life sciences and biology.
The AACR broke the 1,000-member mark in 1960, and the decade would see an explosion of awareness about cancer prevention and treatments. A simple test called the Pap smear, named after its inventor, brought about a 70% decrease in deaths from cervical and uterine cancers. Behaviors such as smoking are linked to cancer, and the U.S. Surgeon General issues a landmark warning.
Cigarette smoking was responsible for the principal cause, responsible for some 41,000 deaths we have each year from lung cancer in this country.
By 1970, cigarette ads were banned from television, and massive cancer death statistics prompted President Nixon to declare a national war on cancer. He signed the National Cancer Act, which poured millions of dollars into cancer research. When First Lady Betty Ford undergoes a mastectomy and publicly urges women to learn more about breast cancer, thousands of American